So we will talk about 5.1's focus skill, which is statistical question this week. And this one is, I make a previous quarter a video, and that was a really good video. So I will use the same video this quarter too. If you don't like it or if you have further questions, please come and ask me. But it is very basic. Statistical question is something that if the answer is varying for you, then it is a statistical question. But if it is not varying, it is not a statistical question. The details you will see in this video that I will edit in. It's a pretty long video because I'm talking about it. But basically the gist of it, I will tell you what it is. When you ask a question, does the answer that you give is varying? Is it varying for you, or is it just have one answer? Okay, so for instance, if I want to give you an example for it, what is it? So like if I want to give you an example, so for instance, how old are you? You will say a number. I'm not going to tell you my age though. So let's say, I think I stop aging at 31, let's say that. So I am 31 plus years old. So that means, does that have like many answers? No, I have only one answer, 31 or more. 38. So then it is, when you think about it, there's had only one answer. However, if you ask, what are the ages of the teachers at goal, you will have lots of teachers with a certain age, and so you can have a graph or some kind of representation with those. And it is a statistical question because you are analyzing all the teachers and their ages at goal. When I'm asking you how many buttons in this jar, will not make a statistical question, because even though there's lots of buttons inside, thousands of it, it's actually just buttons inside. I am not giving you any more details about it. Let's say 237 buttons inside this jar. That is not a statistical question. However, if I ask you, what are the shapes of these buttons in this jar, or what color of buttons are inside this jar, so you will say yellow, blue, red, those types. That is a statistical question, okay? Because I'm asking you, you need to categorize the buttons by their colors. In the question with the teachers at Goal Academy and their ages, you had to categorize the teachers by their ages, or by their gender, or by their like some features about those things. Okay, so it has, for statistical, it needs, the answer has to vary. It has to have many answers, not just one answer. It's not a yes or no question, or if it is not a straightforward question answer. Your question has to have many answers. Okay, so that makes it a statistical question. But I will post this video. Let's watch this, and then I will talk to you again. Hello, everyone. So a statistical question, what is that? You won't have single answer, but you will have many answer. What does that mean? That means if you can collect a data with one question, then that is a statistical question. But if you can if you cannot do that, then it is unfortunately not a statistical question. That is the important part of the thing. 1 minute, I will have to extend this so that you can see. And then I don't know why the view become like that. I'm trying to fix that, but this is okay too. So then a statistical question is a question that can be answered by collecting data. So for example, if I'm asking you, how old am I, do you think? Or how old am I? Is not a statistical question because I have only one answer for this. And there's not so many of me, so you cannot really collect the data. However, if you ask this question, how old are the students in my school, in my classroom, you will give many answers, different answers. I have from 15, 14 to 21, various age number kids inside my school. So that is like how many 15 years old, how many 16 years old, how many 17 years old. They all give me data about the question. So then the data varies. Then that is a statistical question. Then now I can use those data usefully. How many, like what age of the students are more interested in concurrent enrollment? Maybe like 16-year-olds are more interested in concurrent enrollment more than the others. So this is the statistical question. Then what is let's look at this in this button thing. There's a jar of button, and Ziki have this button jar. I don't know how to say his name. Maybe I'm butchering his name. I'm sorry, Ziki. um so there's so many buttons. If I ask simply how many buttons in this jar, you do not have any different answers. Like your answers doesn't vary. It's just one answer. I don't know, 3,000, 300, that kind of thing. However, if you want to make a statistical question, then how many different types of button inside this jar, or how many different buttonhole types of button inside the jar? How many different colors in the jar? That varies, because you have 5 red, 4 purple, 3 brown, that kind of thing. That also varies. Okay, so that is why these things that makes these questions statistical. When we move on to that, you will see a bunch of questions that are asking you if this is a statistical question or it's not a question. I will give you examples of statistical questions, and then if you and then we will talk about those, and then you will do these things related to your assignment. I'm sorry, I just blanked out a moment. How many days are in March? Is this a statistical question? When I am looking at it, I can only give one answer. It's not statistical because there is one answer, and that is 31. 31 days in March. Doesn't vary. There's no data about it. How old is your dog? Again, your dog, probably you have one dog. If you have more than that, it might be a little bit different. How old are your dogs can vary, and it will be statistical. However, how is your one and only dog is not a statistical question. On average, how old are the dogs that live on the street can be something like that. Or if you have many dogs, like you're talking about it, then it can be also vary, because you're collecting about your dogs. For instance, you have 4 dogs and you have different 4 answers. Yes, your data will be so limited and small, but it will be still a variable answer that makes your question statistical. Then another example would be maybe what proportions on average 1 minute. I will show you these. We were talking about examples. So like, what proportion of the students at your school like watermelons? So in this one, what proportion of the schools likes watermelon? Students at your school like watermelons. This is actually a statistical question, because there's so many students and they have a variable taste. Like, some students are a variety of taste. Some students like watermelon, some hates watermelon. For instance, my son hates strawberries, which is so unusual. Everybody likes strawberries, I thought, before I met my son. I do not like a strawberry milk or strawberry things like that has the artificial strawberry taste, but I do like strawberry cakes if they have the fresh strawberries. But he doesn't like anything with strawberry, so that's crazy. And so it is like that. Watermelons, how many students like in what proportion of the students at your school like watermelons, gives you variable data, and that means it is a statistical question. Do you like watermelons? Is that a statistical question? No. And if you like the watermelons or don't like the watermelons, that question is not a statistical question. Well, miss, I can do this. I can ask 100 different people, and then I will the same question, and then it will be statistical. But the question will not be, do you like watermelons? You can say, I wanted to survey among 200 students in this school to see if they like watermelon or not. So that becomes a statistical observation. However, if you ask, like, do you like watermelon? No, it doesn't. Okay. How many bricks are in this wall? It's not statistical. There is only one answer. 34 bricks. There's 48 bricks. I don't know how many bricks there are, but there's only one answer for that thing, and it doesn't vary. So it is not. What was the temperature at noon today at still? That's very specific. You are too specific. If you ask this kind of question, you won't have that kind of variable data, and that's not statistical. However, if you ask, what are the temperatures in 30 days in the moon, for instance, you measure every day in the moon the temperature of that day, and you write it, and that is a collecting data, and that is a statistical question. So let's move on. You will have to do these assignments by yourself after these examples, and you will say, you will answer, what is the typical size of the buttons in the jar? So I will give you one clue. If you watch this video, you will have the answer for that. Typical. Typical is taking away from all the data or variety you would have in your answer. If I ask you the typical, that means you will have only one answer. And that doesn't make statistical, okay? Typical is not a statistical word that you can use in statistical questions. You could say, instead of typical size, you would ask the different sizes, and that would make it, okay? And so then I want you to give me 2 examples of statistical questions that has variety of answers. Be careful, okay? So I really get this like this one because I got lots of cool questions actually. So hopefully you will get it. I will give you another one example. If you have a lake and you are the ecologist around that lake working with the fish in the pond, one person is asking you this question. One of your student or the partner that you're working with there is asking you, how many fish in this pond? And you are the ecologist and you're saying, well, this is not a good question, Mr. or Miss or someone. You need to ask me what different types of fish in this pond, because our research is about blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that kind of thing. Be careful about statistical and not statistical questions. This looks so easy, but it is actually a really good skill to have in order to accomplish so many things in statistics of like this is a department in math, different. Okay. And I hope you like this video. And if it is more explanatory for you, please tell me if you have any difficulties. And I will actually launch you for this week with our weekly announcement page, because that tells you where to find this video and other links that are useful for you. For instance, for this one, you will see my office hours, the announcement video, and the link for the lesson. Hope you enjoy it. I will see you next week. Have a good week. Bye.